Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into how this one single skill, prompt engineering, is basically turning the world of human resources on its head. It's all about making that big shift from just handling administrative tasks to really stepping into a strategic leadership role. And you know what the key is? It's all about learning how to talk to AI.
Okay, so let's just get the big question out of the way right now, because I know it's on everyone's mind. You see these new tools that can write job descriptions, analyze mountains of survey data, even build entire onboarding plans. And it's totally natural to wonder, right? Is the human in human resources about to become a thing in the past? Well, the answer pretty clearly is no. The whole idea here is partnership. Look, this technology is here to boost what we can do, to act like a super powerful assistant. Its job is to free up HR pros for the work that really truly requires that human touch, strategy, empathy, and making real connections. Now, to really get a handle on this partnership, we've got to look at how we even got here. It didn't just happen overnight. It's been this steady climb from simple automation to a much more sophisticated kind of collaboration. Think about it. Back in the early 2000s, it was all about automating the basics, digitizing payroll, records, that sort of thing. Then, in the 2010s, AI started getting predictive, helping us forecast things like who might leave the company. But today, we are in a whole new era of generative HR. This is where AI isn't just analyzing data anymore, it's becoming a creative partner, actively helping us come up with new ideas and make bigger, more strategic decisions. And here's the really big deal. This shift frees HR from the daily grind of routine paperwork. So instead of spending hours and hours drafting policies or basic onboarding guides, you can now focus on what the data actually means, on leading real change, and on building a workplace culture that people actually want to be a part of. Okay, and this right here, this brings us to the absolute core of what we're talking about today. If AI is our assistant, well, how do we give it instructions? The answer is the prompt. This is where the human is, and honestly, always will be, in the driver's seat. So here it is, the number one rule of working with generative AI. You have to remember this. Vague, lazy inputs are only going to get you vague, lazy outputs. The quality of the result you get is a direct mirror of the quality of the prompt you write. It's the classic saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. And you can really see the difference here. It's night and day. Summarize this HR data. I mean, what is the AI supposed to do with that? It's useless. But look at the good prompt. It gives the AI a role, an HR analyst. It specifies the exact task. It tells it what kind of output it wants and even sets the format. It's a clear, professional set of instructions. So how do you write a great prompt every single time? Well, lucky for us, there's a super simple, really memorable framework you can start using like today. Let's break it down. It's just 4 easy steps. First, you give the AI a role. That's the context. Then, you give it a crystal clear task. Next, tell it what kind of output you're looking for, the specific insights or content. And finally, define the format, the length, the style, the whole structure. Context, task, output, format. That's it. That's the whole magic trick. All right, enough with the theory. Let's see how this framework actually works in the real world with a couple of day-to-day HR examples. Okay, here's a classic HR headache, onboarding. Now, instead of digging up some generic old template, you can use a detailed prompt just like this one. Notice how specific it is, a 7-day checklist for a software engineer who's joining the IT team. The details matter. And boom, this is what you get back, a structured, totally relevant plan. It's not just a generic list. You get a tailored starting point that covers everything from getting their tech set up to their first team meetings. This saves an unbelievable amount of time. And speaking of time, get this. The data shows that for document automation, we're talking offer letters, policy summaries, checklists like the one we just saw, AI can save you 60 to 70% of the initial writing time. I mean, that is just a massive win for efficiency. Let's look at another one, this time for something a little trickier, like data analysis. Imagine you have hundreds of open-ended comments from an employee survey. Reading through all of those manually would take forever. But with a good prompt, you can turn all of that qualitative data into a real quantitative insight. And just like that, here's the output. In seconds, the AI synthesizes all that feedback, picks out the key themes, and even gives you an overall sentiment score. This is something actionable you can take directly to your leadership team. But, and this is so important,
This is where that human-AI partnership really clicks into place. The AI tells you what is happening. It's the HR professional's job to figure out why it's happening using all their knowledge about the organization and then to decide what's next by building a smart strategic plan.
And this really gets us to the future of the HR profession itself. You see, mastering these tools isn't just about being a little more efficient. It's about completely redefining the strategic value that HR brings to the table.
It all comes back to this one simple idea. AI handles the repetitive, data-heavy lifting, which empowers the HR professional to focus on the deeply human parts of the job. Mentorship, resolving conflicts, building culture, and leading with real empathy. Of course, in this new world, HR professionals have to become the ethical champions of AI. This means you've got to constantly check for fairness, make data privacy an absolute non-negotiable, and always, always, always prioritize genuine human connection over just automating everything. So when you boil it all down, the takeaway is pretty clear. This isn't about tech versus people. The future belongs to those who can master both, using AI to become more efficient, more data-driven, and ultimately even more human in their work.
And that really leaves us all with one final question to think about. In your own job, in your own company, how are you going to use these powerful new tools not just to innovate, but to amplify empathy and build a better, more human future of work?